Hey, what's up YouTube? In this video I'll be showing you how to make level 6 of the YouTuber apartment house. I do want to say this nice and early that I didn't really plan on making level 6 of the house. As a matter of fact, the only reason that I did it was because in the last video I said that I would. If you guys want to see a level 7, not only should you include in the comments who should be included in level 7, but I never do this, but I'm going to ask for a certain amount of likes on this video because I don't want this series to get stale. I don't want to build this and build this and build this without you guys really wanting it, so I'm going to request, I don't think that this is a massive amount of likes, if you guys really want it, 1,000 likes on this video and I'll make level 7. Plus, do remember that in the comment section you'll have to suggest who you want to be in the particular level. So level 7, pick 5 of your favorite YouTubers, let me know down there in the comments. But if the video doesn't get 1,000 likes, guys, or when the video gets 1,000 likes, I'll do it, but if it never does, then I'm just not going to do level 7 because, I mean, we've already got 6 levels of this. How high do you want it to go? It's kind of up to you. If you want to make any of the previous levels, and if you haven't made any of the levels before, I would highly suggest starting with, at the very least, level 1 before you start jumbling this thing up with the various YouTubers that are in here in various positions. Well, check out the card system, check out the description below. I'll be leaving links to the YouTuber house in both the card system and the description below. You'll be able to find it nice and easy, but that is more than enough talking. Remember though, guys, if you want to see the next level of this house, not only should you include your 5 favorite YouTubers, but this video is going to have to get 1,000 likes, otherwise I'm just not going to do it. But let's move on. So if you want to make it, here's what you're going to need. Grab yourself some limestone clay, some white stained clay, grab brown stained clay, black wool, green wool, and some white wool. Now, these are going to be the first materials that we'll be using for our very first YouTuber, which is going to be on the far left-hand side, just above Cupquake. And the first YouTuber that we're going to be building is ThxCya. So, to figure out the position that he will be built in, we're going to want to come all the way up to the top front left-hand corner of Cupquake's head, which is this block. But we actually want to move 1 block inwards, which is this one, and we want to go up on top of this block by like 3 with a random material. That's 1, 2, 3. Then place a black wool on top of that 3rd block. Destroy the guiding blocks, and from this black wool we will build the rest of his head. So we then want to go right of this black wool by 7. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Then go up on top of this row of black wool by 2 with your black. So we want to add 2 layers. That'll be 1 layer, and then that will be 2 layers. Then for the next row, going from left to right, do 1 dark green, 1 white wool. Do 1 lime clay, 2 white clay, 1 lime clay, 1 white wool, 1 dark green. For the next row, going from left to right, of course, do 2 dark green, 1 brown stained clay, 2 white stained clay, 1 brown stained clay, 2 dark green wool. Then for the next row, do 3 dark green, 2 white stained clay, 3 dark green. Then do 2 solid layers of dark green. That'll be 1, and then this will be 2. And that is actually ThxCya's face. It might not look like it at the moment, but trust me, it's his face. So what we now want to do is, where we have this section of black, we want to come all the way up to the very left hand side here, and we want to find the 3rd black wool on the very left hand side, which is this one, starting from the bottom. We want to place a dark green wool in front of it. We then want to go up on top of this wall by 1. Then do 3 upper right diagonals, that's 1, 2, 3, in front of the head of course. Then go right by 1, do 3 bottom right diagonals, that's 1, 2, 3. Go down from that by 1, but also go up by 2, that's 1, 2. And you know what, let's make that 3 because we actually meant to go up by 3. Then do an up left diagonal, and then go left by 5, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then do a bottom left diagonal, go down until you connect to where you first started, and you'll end up with a shape that kind of looks like this, and that's really creepy looking actually. It kind of looks like some sort of weird like ghost cowl or something. Maybe I'm just insane. Well, what you want to do is you want to fill in the empty space left around the front of the face there, in the shape that you've just made, and then we want to take out our dark green wool, and we want to take each one of the 4 corners of the back of ThxCya's head, and we want to extend them backwards each by 7. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Or what's easier is you take that first row of 7, you then extend it to the left here until it's equal with the bottom right hand corner of the head, you connect it to the front right hand corner of the head, and then you take each one of the back 2 corners of the head, raise them up, and then connect them to the back top 2 corners of the face like this, like a big giant cube shape. It's so easy like that. What you can now do is fill the left hand side, the right hand side, and the back of the head in with dark green wool. And then the top of the head and the bottom of the head is a little bit different. Very easy, but a little bit different. And if you have built any level of this so far, any level of this, you know what you have to do to these heads. So these heads are at the top and the bottom, they have holes in them. You can actually see like down below into Cupquake's head you can actually see, and you can see the same thing for Pinksheep, and you'd be able to see the same for any one of the other YouTube characters around us. Well, we want to have the same thing for ThxCya, and the way that we do that is at the bottom of the head and the top of the head, all we want to do is we want to have a layer of whatever colour you want really, going all the way around the top of the inside and the bottom of the inside of the head. So like in a big square shape as I'm doing now, we just want to have this. We just want to go all the way around in a big square shape like that. And you should notice that when you look down through the like hole in the top and the hole in the bottom of the head, it should line up perfectly with every single other one of those holes, and you can actually see all the way down to the bottom there. I mean if you look close enough you can actually see the previous layer and the previous layer. Later on we're going to be filling that in with glass, but for now we'll be leaving it alone. But that is ThxCya's head. Really simple stuff. Let's move on to the next one. So this next one is going to be Thinknoodles. For Thinknoodles, we're going to need some different materials. We'll need ourselves some cyan stained clay. We'll need white stained clay. We also need a bit of magenta stained clay. We'll want to grab ourselves some white wool, and I do believe that that is just about everything. So what we'll then do is, and it's actually easier to do it this way, we want to come to the very bottom right hand side of ThxCya's head, where we have this black wool block. We want to go right of this by, let's say like 3 with the white stained clay, so that's 1 and 2 and 3. Then we want to place a cyan stained clay. Destroy the white stained clay, and then go right of that cyan stained clay by 7. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Then, on top of this row of cyan stained clay, going from left to right, we want to do 1 white stained clay, 1 cyan stained clay, 1 white, 2 magenta, 1 white, 1 cyan, 1 white. Then for the next row, going from left to right, do 2 white stained clay, 4 cyan stained clay, 2 white stained clay. Then for the next row, do an entire row of white stained clay. Then for the next row, do 1 cyan stained clay, 2 white wool. Then do 2 white stained clay, then 1 white wool, got it right that time, then 2 cyan stained clay. For the next row, do 1 cyan stained clay, then 1 white wool, 2 cyan stained clay, then 1 white stained clay. Do 1 white wool followed by 2 cyan stained clay. Then, for the next row, do an entire row of cyan stained clay. And as a matter of fact, the next row above it can also be an entire row of cyan stained clay. So you'll end up with something that should look a little bit like this. Well, what you want to do now is this. Come to the left eye. Take this bottom cyan stained clay block that we have right at the bottom of the left eye and place a cyan stained clay here. Go up by 2. 1, 2. Do an upright diagonal. Go right by 6. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Actually, go right by 5. I'm sorry, I made that mistake. You want to go right by 5. You want a block of separation between the end and the block that you just placed. Do a bottom right diagonal. Go down by 3. 1, 2, and 3. Right there. You then want to do an up left diagonal. Go up by 1. Do an up left diagonal. Left by 1. Bottom left diagonal. Left by 1. Up left diagonal. What you then want to do is fill in just inside of the fringe there with your cyan stained clay, like that. Easy enough, right? Well, once you've got that taken care of, this is what you want to do next. So that is obviously Thinknoodles' face. What we now want to do is we want to take out the white stained clay, and we want to take each one of the bottom 2 corners of the head and extend them backwards each by 7 with the white stained clay. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And the other one as well. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then we want to connect each one of those blocks together. Like that. Well, one of those rows is wrong. Shall we find out which? So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Perfect. That's the row that's right, and therefore that first one is as well now. Well, what we then want to do is we want to come to the side of the head. I'm on the left-hand side of the head. You see where we have the cyan stained clay right in the corner. We want to do 2 up left diagonals with the cyan stained clay on this side of the head coming up backwards like this. It'll look like 1 and then 2. We then, on top of the second up left diagonal, want to go up by 1, right by 1. We then want to go left of the cyan stained clay, and what we basically want to do is we want to mirror what we have down below. We want to take what we have down below, this shape that we have down below, and we want to transfer it up here. And then when we hit this opposite side of the head, what we then want to do is we want to move in by 1 block to the right here, back into the pattern. We then want to go down from that second block by 1, and then do a bottom left diagonal to give us this shape. We can then fill in underneath the cyan stained clay with white stained clay, and then we can fill in above the white stained clay with our cyan stained clay. So it's quite easy. We just want to remember, underneath the hairline, the cyan stained clay, do white stained clay. Above the hairline, do cyan stained clay. Very, very easy, very simple. And once we've got all of the sides of the head taken care of, we'll be then doing the same thing that we've done a couple of times already. We'll be leaving a hole in the top and the bottom of the head. And just as long as it lines up with Mr. Purple, I keep calling Mr. Purple because the glass is purple, Mr. Pink Sheep just below us, as long as it lines up with that now that we've got all of the sides of the head taken care of, as long as it lines up with him, everything's good. That's all we want. I did also consider, by the way, with these houses, I did consider, like, if you wanted to, I think it might look cool if you included, like, random colours. You know, like, at the top of the head here and the bottom of the head, how we're kind of, like, using white stained clay? Would it look good if we just used a random colour? Like, I don't know, like light grey wool? Would that look a little bit better than just using the white stained clay? I don't know. I was just thinking of ways to add a little bit more colour, a little bit more, I don't know, just a little bit of variation into these things. I don't know, maybe you like it, maybe you don't, just an idea, but that is Thinknoodles in all of his glory. Absolutely all of it. Well, once you've got him taken care of, we can now move on to the next YouTuber. And the next YouTuber should be, all being well, Unspeakablegaming. To make him, we'll need some cyan stained clay. We'll also need some black wool. We'll need white wool. Also grab some pink. We'll need some red, and we'll also need some lime wool. Come all the way up to the top front left-hand corner of Jerome's head, and on top of this front top left-hand corner block, we want to go up by like 3 with the red. That's 1, 2, 3. Then place a lime wool. Destroy the red. Go right of that line by 1 the red wool, then 4 with the pink. That's 1, 2, 3, and 4. Do a red, then do a lime. That's the first row of Unspeakable's head. We then, for the next row going from left to right, it's the very similar row. We want to do 1 lime, then 1 red, 4 white wool, 1 red, 1 lime. Then for the next row, do 1 lime, then you want to do 6 red, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, then 1 lime. We then, for the next row, want to go from left to right, do 3 white wool, 2 lime, 3, then 1 white wool, 1 black wool, 1 cyan stained clay. For the next row, do 2 black wool, 1 white wool, 2 lime, 1 white, 1 black, 1 cyan. Then for the next row, do 1 cyan, 1 black, 1 white wool, 2 lime, then 1 white, then do 2 cyan stained clay. We then, for the next row, want to do 2 cyan stained clay, then 1 white wool, 2 lime, then 3 white wool. Then for the next row, do an entire row of lime wool, and that will give you something which should look a little bit like that. And that is Unspeakable's head for the most part. The rest of it's really simple. So all we have to do from here is we just have to take the back 4 corners of the head, extend them backwards by 7 with the line wall, and then connect them all together, fill in the back, left, right, and then you just want to leave the little holes in the top and bottom of the head. And something that you can do here, by the way, is once again, if you do want to customize like the top and the bottom of the head, it's really simple. I might use I might use the colors that are already involved in this skin, so I might use like red and pink or something. Maybe that's what I'll do, but I am going to make this a little bit different because for Minecraft skins are a little bit, shall we say, bland? A little bit bland, then I just want to change up the color palette a little bit. I mean, it's the same for Thinknoodles. I mean, I like the skin, personally, but there's not a lot of colour going on, and it's the same thing with here. I do know that if I was to make the entire skin for this particular YouTuber, then it'd actually be really colourful. It's actually a really cool skin, but as I'm just making the head, then, you know, I'm just limited by what blocks are involved in the head unless I want to edit it a little bit, which I don't, because I want this to be recognisable. So we now have to fill in the bottom and top of the head. I think I'm just going to add a ring of red wool at the bottom of the head, because why not? And then I'll add like a layer of colourful glass as well later, if I so choose. And for the top of the head, I'm just going to use like pink, because why not? Although it does look a little bit like brains, I'll admit that. I do wish I did have a different colour on me, but brains it is. That's what we're going to be going for. So that's Unspeakable. Once you've got him taken care of, we can then move on to the next character on our list, which is going to be Samgladiator. I actually really love this skin. We're going to be needing some white stained clay for this. We'll need a bit of black stained clay. We'll also need a brown stained clay. We'll also need ourselves some white wool. We'll even need some pink wool. And then I think that should just about do it, ladies and gentlemen. So once you have each one of those, we want to, and it's easier to do it this way, from the top, from the bottom front right hand corner of Unspeakable's head, which is this block, we want to go right by this with like 3 white wool. That's 1, 2, 3. Then do a row of 8 white stained clay going right. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Then destroy the white wool. Like that. We then, on top of this row of white stained clay, want to add 2 additional rows of clay. So this will be 1 row of clay, and then this will be 2 rows of clay. Then for the next row, going from left to right, we need some white stained clay. We need white wool. We need ourselves some, you know what, we're missing material. We actually need black wool as well. I can't believe I missed it. We'll want to place a black wool. Then going right, still do 2 white stained clay, then 1 black, then 1 white wool, 1 white stained clay. There we go. We needed black for the pupils of the eyes. Silly me. Well, for the next row on top of this, you want to do 1 white stained clay, then 2 black stained clay. Then do 1 white stained clay, 1 brown stained clay. Do 2 black stained clay, then 1 brown stained clay. Then for the next row, do a row of 5 brown stained clay. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then do 1 white stained clay, then 2 brown stained clay. Then, for the next 2 rows, just do 2 solid rows of brown. So that'll be 1 row, and then the second row stacked directly on top of it, like that. Nice and simple. Now we've got to add a bit of hair for Sam. So, starting from which position would be easiest? Probably this. So, just above the left eye here, just above the left of the eyebrow, which is this black stained clay, you want to move up by 1 block, so you're actually in the brown stained clay. Well, from this, we want to place a brown stained clay in front of it. Then we want to go up by 1, left by 1, up by 1. Do an upright diagonal. You then want to do 2 bottom right diagonals, that's 1, 2. Do 2 upright diagonals, that's 1 and 2. Then do a bottom right diagonal, followed by a bottom left diagonal. And there you go, that's Sam's hair. Quite easy, really. What we now want to do is come to the left hand side of Sam's head. And we want to, coming out of the bottom 2 corners of the head, we want to have a single white wool poking out of the bottom of the, well, bottom 2 corners of the head. And then on top of those white wools, starting from this left hand side first of all, we want to do a white stained clay. We then want to do an up left diagonal with the white stained clay. We then want to do an up right diagonal with the white stained clay, go down by 1 to form this shape. On top of this left-hand part of this shape, we want to go up by 5 with the brown stained clay. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, reaching the top of the head. Go right, connect to the top of the head, fill this in, and once you've got this shape taken care of on this side, you actually want to come to this opposite side and you want to clone it. So on top of this white wall here, you can see just by looking at this side, we want to go up by 3. We want to take that middle block, extend it backwards by 1. We then, on top of this block, we want to go up on top of it with the brown, extend it to the head. Fill this portion in with the brown, like that. We can then come to the top of the head and we want to fill in this first row with brown stained clay, like that. Plus, I'm getting a little ahead of myself. You can take each one of those end rows and extend it backwards like this. So that is like the first half of the head. The second half of the head is actually kind of my favorite half. So what we'll now do is we'll take those first initial white wool blocks that we placed, and we want to extend these backwards by 6. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and the opposite one as well. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Then we'll connect these together. We want to drag these up, connect them to the top of the head coming from. Plus, we'll also connect them together at the top as well. That might take a second or so, but we want to, like I said, drag them up, connect them to the front of the head, connect them together. Then we want to fill in the back of the head and left and right hand side of the head in with white wool. That's the easiest way to do it. Then we do also have a couple more bits of detail to add for Sam, and I'll show you that. So one of the many reasons that I like this skin is because he has like a little rabbit ear hood. I like it quite a lot because I like the little bunny ears that they kind of like hang off at the back of it. So that's what we'll be making after we filled in the left, right, back of this. So the way that we want to make these rabbit ears, it's quite simple. We want to start all the way up at the top here. We want to start at the top of this. So you want to be on the, like this top back corner of the head, this one. It's like the back right hand corner really. On top of this you want to place a white one. Going right at that, place a pink. Then a white. Going right, leave a gap of 2, then place a white, a pink, a white. Then you want to take each one of those blocks and you want to extend them forwards by 2. That's 1, 2, 1, 2, whoops. 1, 2, 1, 2, same with the pink, 1, 2, 1, 2. But you want to come to the back of the head and you want to extend them coming over the back each by 1, like this. So just extend them back by 1. You then want to take each one of those blocks and you want to extend them down by 2. So that would be like 1, 2, 1, 2. Do the white first, 1, 2, 1, 2. Same with the pink, 1, 2, 1, 2. Then underneath the pink wool blocks, you just want to place a white. And there you have the ears. I think they're really cute. I like them. I quite like this skin. I really am a fan of it. Well, once you've got the ears taken care of, you now just want to, at the top of the head here, you just want to fill in the regular pattern as you would. So you just want to add the layer of material like going all the way around the inside of the head. And I'm not actually going to mess with that with like any various colors or anything, because I think that this is actually really quite an interesting skin all by itself, and I don't really want to mess with it because I really like it. I really love Samgladiator's skin, so I don't really want to mess with it, to be honest with you. Well, that's his skin anyway. That's his head. Once you've got that taken care of, we have just one person left, and I love this one as well. I guess I'm leaving the interesting ones to last. We have, I do believe his name is, I get these things wrong sometimes, jackfrostminer. I love this skin. So to make it, you need some block of gold, you need some block of iron, you'll need some yellow stained clay. We'll also need some black stained clay, some brown stained clay. We also need some white wool. We also need a nice little bit of black. Well, once you have each one of these, you want to come all the way up to the top front right hand corner of, I don't know this guy's name's head, and you want to, on top of this front left-hand corner, you want to do a row of, let's say, like 3 block of gold coming up. That's 1, 2, 3. On top of that block of gold, place a brown stained clay block. Destroy the gold. Go right of that brown stained clay by 6 with your black stained clay. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Then do a brown stained clay. Then for the next row, going from left to right, do 1 brown stained clay, 1 black stained clay, 4 brown stained clay, 1 black stained clay, 1 brown stained clay. For the next row, do 2 brown stained clay, 4 black stained clay, 2 brown stained clay. Then for the next row, do an entire row of brown stained clay. Then for the next row, do 1 block of gold, then 1 white wool, 1 black. Do 2 brown stained clay, 1 black wool, 1 white wool, 1 block of gold. Do an entire row of yellow stained clay. Then for the next 2 rows, going from left to right, do 2 block of gold, 1 yellow stained clay, 2 block of iron, 1 yellow stained clay, 2 gold. And you just want to do that very same row, just again. Like I said, you want to do 2 of that row, and it wants to end up looking a little something like that, which does look a little bit flat and a little bit boring. So what we'll then do is we'll take each one of the gold blocks, each one of the yellow blocks, and each one of the iron blocks. We'll take them and we will extend them forwards by 1 row, like this. You guys can see what you have to do. It's quite easy, like this. Boom. Perfect. We then want to come to the side of Jack, and the easiest way to do this, I think, is going to be, so we want to take out the brown stained clay, we want to take each one of the bottom 2 corners of the back of the face, and we want to extend them backwards each by 7, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and the same with the opposite side as well, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We then want to connect each one of those 7 blocks together. What we're now going to do is we are going to add a layer of brown stained clay on top of this. So we'll add a layer of brown stained clay on top of this. Easy enough, right? Then, starting from the front here, we're going to do, on top of these first 2 blocks, we're going to do 2 layers of brown stained clay. That'll be 1 layer, 2 layer. And on this opposite side, that'll be 1 layer, 2 layer. We then want to do 3 layers of gold. So this will look like 1, just on the side first, 2, and 3. So on the side and on the back, and on the opposite side we want to have the 3 layers of gold, and this is just going to show you like the separation between the helmet and the actual skin, like this. We then want to do a layer of yellow stained clay going all the way around. So on top of the gold, do a layer of yellow stained clay. Then you want to do 2 layers of gold, so this will be the first layer, and then the second layer should come all the way up to the top of the head like this. And once you've got that second layer of gold, you'll realise that that is the very top of Jack's head. Then to fill in the top of his head, I'm just going to do a layer of yellow stained clay going all the way around the inside. Once again, I don't really want to mess about with this one too much, so I'm just going to leave that as is. And I might change this down below actually, just to add a little bit of a colour to it, just because it's just to make it a bit more interesting. I might add some block of iron going all the way around the base of the bottom of the head, just to add a different colour to the scenario, because honestly it's looking a little bit dark down here. Or maybe, you know what, it'd make more sense to use brown stained clay. The iron looks a little bit weird. What am I doing? Maybe I'll use black stained clay. Yeah, that looks a little bit better. I'll use black stained clay, because why not? It doesn't really make sense. The white contrasts way too much against the brown. I don't like it, to be honest with you. Maybe purple or something. That might look good. But we'll keep the black stained clay since we actually have it in the inventory. So we want to have something which should look a little bit like that. And that is Jack Frost. And that is the 5th and final YouTuber head in this particular lineup. Well, before we start moving on to some of the more complicated bits, why don't I show you how to transport yourself from the previous level, which is level 5, all the way up to level 6, and then we'll talk about filling in the heads with the various glass and whatever else you might want to put in them. So, to transfer yourself between the levels, you'll need some block of quartz, you'll need some quartz stairs, you'll also need some ladders, you also need some black glass and some black glass pane. Come all the way to the very back of your YouTuber heads, and we'll start with, why not start with Jack, because we were just back here. So we want to connect, I think his name is Hellraiser for some reason, the guy below Jack. You want to connect the top back 2 corners, or the top back 2 middle blocks of his head, all the way up to like the back bottom 2 middle blocks of his head with your quartz block. You then want to create an opening in the back of Jack's head, just leaving a gap of 1 between where you place a quartz and just above, and you want to have a 2x2 square of empty space. We then want to knock into the glass tunnel just below us, and we want to come down to where the actual head is, like the base of the head, where the ladders are. We want to add a layer of quartz here, just where the ladders reach the head. Then we want to take the block behind the ladders and we want to extend that up by 3 blocks and then connect it midway up Hellraiser's head, or whatever his name is. We then want to add ladders to the row 3 block of quartz, and then we want to add ladders running all the way up from that head all the way up to the next head, like this. Then take out your black stained glass block and we will run a row of black stained glass block going all the way around this, all the way around basically the little walkway, the little climbing bit, and this is just to provide nice glass tunnels so that nobody's going to be falling out of this. Basically, that's what this is for. So I'm just going to do all of this, boom, boom, connect downwards like this, and then I'm just going to fill in this area here, like that, and there we go. So we now have the glass tunnel that runs all the way up the back. You can see it's identical to the previous parts of the tunnel. Then on the front here, we're just going to cover up the quartz a little bit with glass. We don't have to like complete the tunnel, like going all the way around the quartz, but it just dulls it a little bit basically by adding the glass. Instead of having the bright quartz, you have a bit of a dull quartz by adding the glass. But that is the left hand side completely done. Let's do the right hand side and then we'll talk about some of the other things. So we now want to connect the back of Cupquake's head all the way up to the bottom of ThxCya's head. We then want to create the little gap here which we'll actually be able to walk into, and we also want to smash into the glass tunnel. We want to add a quartz platform here at the base of Cupquake's head, and we also want to add a row of 1, 2, 3 quartz connecting to the back of Cupquake. We then want to add 3 ladders coming up the quartz like this. We then want to add a row of ladders that comes all the way up to ThxCya's head. Then we want to add a layer of glass block that just creates a tunnel, essentially. Again, like I said on the other side, and like I've said in every single one of these YouTuber apartment house tutorials, and there's 6 of them now, which is insane. It's just so nobody falls out. I mean, I'm clumsy. I don't know how clumsy you are. You don't need this if you don't need it. You don't need it if you don't need it. That basically sums it up. So I'm just going to fill that in with glass block and it'll look like this. Also on the left, right, and on the front of this, the quartz that is actually showing, I'm just going to add glass just because it does blur it a little bit. It's not as bright, it's not as shiny if you see it there. Have I missed a block or placed one extra? I think I placed one extra. There we go. So we'll have something which should look like that. And there we go. We can now transport ourselves from down to above. Something else that we have to do. So how do we get in between each one of the heads? Well, we want to take the 4 center blocks at the bottom inside parts of the head. So like ThxCya, you can see that we have 2 blocks on the left, we have 2 blocks on the right. We've knocked out like the 2x2 square right in the side of the head, and we want to do the same thing, knocking in through each one of the YouTuber's heads. So like this, you want to take the 4 center blocks like this, and you want to knock through and you want to connect each one of the YouTubers together. You guys can see how this is happening. I'm sure that it's no surprise on how you actually have to do this. I'm sure that you can see quite easily. And what you then want to do is you want to connect just below where you destroyed the 4 blocks, connect each one of the heads together with a layer of black glass. The reason that I use black glass is just because it's a bit more inconspicuous than, let's say, white glass or any other color of glass. Like something else that would work is like dark grey, like or any sort of grey glass would work. Maybe even brown. No, brown would probably stick out a little bit actually, but black glass works nicely, any sort of grey, anything that you don't see as much. I know that we're using quartz here, which kind of like highlights the fact that there's a walkway, I suppose, but regardless, I like the contrast between the quartz and the black anyway, and if you didn't want to, you don't have to include the quartz. You could just as easily have a walkway without it. You could just use more glass, and you could just use the glass pane to stop yourself falling off. But as I always say, like, I'm so clumsy in this game. I'm so incredibly clumsy that I need stuff like this. I need little barriers so I don't fall off and die and stuff like that. I'm very accident prone, some might say, but some, I would say, and I'd hope that some would say, or all. So I'm just going to fill that in because I destroyed it, and you'll notice that once we've added that, we've got the same thing on all of the other levels down below, and there you go, all of the heads connect together perfectly. Now, there are just a couple of things left to do, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go away, and I'm going to fill in each one of these YouTuber heads with a particular material. I'm going to be using glass, but I haven't yet figured out which glass I'm going to be using where because it's a bit random. So going from left to right, I think I'm going to use lime for the very end. No, you know what? I'm gonna use some contrast. I'm gonna use some magenta for the end, if I can find it, because magenta looks good with green. I'm going to be using some... Oh, cyan would look... I'm gonna use light blue for Thinknoodles. For ThxCya, I'm going to use yellow because it's actually one of my favourite kinds of glass. For Samgladiator, I think I'm going to use green because I wish he had green eyes, but he doesn't. For the very end here, Jack Frost, I mean blue would make sense, so I'll use some dark blue. So we're going to go from left to right. We'll use magenta, light blue, we'll use yellow for ThxCya, we'll use some lime green for Mr. Gladiator, and we'll use dark blue for Jack. I'm going to fill all of these in with the glass, and then I'll be back and I'll show you what you can do to the insides if you so choose. You know what, it actually makes sense to show you what you can do to the insides now. So, before I fill these in, if you do want to fill each one of the heads in with a particular material in, it does make it difficult because, I mean, if you fill in the bottom of this with glass, then it does limit you with what you can actually place inside these heads. But a setup that I have all the way down here for the very first row of the YouTube statues looks a little bit like this. So, we have a nice little bedroom in each one of the YouTuber statues, like Stampy's the same as Dan, is the same as Shadow, is the same as all of them. So we have a nice little setup down here in Stampy's head, and it's the same for, I believe this is Stacy here. And this is something that you could have up above, like you could have these in all of the heads, but you can't place some of these on glass, so you'd have to be quite careful. But I mean, you can fit a nice little bedroom in each one of these heads, especially if you're inventive, just to let you know, because I'm not going to be doing any sort of interior design for these, because I simply don't want to. So what I'm now going to do is fill all of these in with glass. I'll show you what that looks like, and we'll wrap up this tutorial back in a sec. So this is what each one of the heads looks like once you've filled it in with the glass. I think it looks quite nice. My favourite one is the Samgladiator one, or maybe even Jack. I don't know, both of those look so good. They're my two favourite skins right on the end. I'm kind of glad they're next to each other, to be honest, and you can see that I filled in just underneath as well. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is level 6 of the YouTuber apartment house. I know, it's sad. It might be the very last episode of this. You guys will have to let me know. By giving this video a like, it has to reach over 1,000. I know that is quite a few likes. It is, I'm well aware, but it will let me know that if it does reach it, you actually want this series to continue, because I don't know if we want to build this sky high or whether we should just leave it here. Really, I should have left this off at level 5, but you guys wanted it so badly that I had to include this level. So many of you commented, I couldn't ignore it. So, if this video reaches 1k likes, and if you guys let me know who you want to see next, I might extend this house. You'll have to let me know. Thank you very much for watching. Like this video if you wouldn't mind. Comment down below your favourite YouTuber. Check out the card system in the description below for my other iterations of the YouTuber apartment house. We have 5 previous levels, plus I'll also leave you a couple of links to some other things as well. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.